and I'm good at this. I got skills, Arlen. They're multiplying. Trust me, I do this all the time in my own when I'm doing my own things. Oh yeah, I didn't record anything. Anyway, I think I will attack again with my sword. It's time to finish this guy.
Nice.
Maybe take a moment to make sure the elderly lady wasn't some kind of plant and was ready to stab me in the back, because that seems really
Yeah, she's not.
70s.
She's basically lying on the ground, kind of
Okay.
half conscious.
All right. Well, that's good then.
All right.
19.
And you're not doing a defensive attack. You're just
Nope.
doing a regular.
Yep.
Yep. 19 is good enough to hit, so it's a DC 22 toughness save. And he rolls a 9. So this guy is gone as well. You just killed another gangster. What do you want to do now?
All right. So this guy, other guy, is unconscious. So it's while he's there, um, maybe pull him around a little bit while I do some treatment on the elderly woman behind the counter, who's no longer behind the counter. Thanks, Hee Hob. Yes, mad skills.
Yeah, sounds good. Why don't you roll me treatment?
Do you know why I keep saying that? Elderly woman behind a counter? No.
I do not know that.
It's an old Pearl Jam song.
Oh.
That's actually what it's called. There's a treatment for you.
Mm. So, unfortunately, that is not really good enough to give her much help at all. And what you think, that's good enough to know that she probably needs to go to the hospital so that somebody more skilled can take care of her.
Mm. All right. So that's interesting. All right. So I will, I guess, can I tell how long it'll be before goon number one awakens?
It's gonna be until you're ready for him because that's the kind of dramatic timing that is appropriate to the setting, I feel like.
All right. But I mean, it wouldn't give me time to take her to the hospital and come back for sure.
No,
So,
not probably not time. He's gonna be out cold for a little while, but you're guessing at most like an hour.
and I don't
Um,
have like trackers or anything like that, right?
no,
All right. So,
none
yeah.
of that.
So, surely the elderly woman behind the counter can wait. Yes, it was just for you, TJ, and whoever else is deigning to watch the stream for who knows that why. Because we're playing this awesome game, and I'm sure you guys all want to play superheroes because I know I love superheroes. Anyway, yeah, so let's wake this other guy up and use our mean Christian Bale voices and intimidate him to learn where if they're keeping Sharon, who's gone missing because I believe the zebras took her because she disappeared in her area. Is it all right to make stuff like that, or would you prefer it just to be random patrols? Or would you like
No,
story
let's make
elements to
up
come up?
all the
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, good.
All right. Gangster's awake and he sort of goes, What happened? And then he sees you and freezes up.
And he sees the blood of his
You,
fallen allies.
yep. You can tell he's in his mind, he's thinking, can he get to his gun faster than you could take him down with the sword?
Mm. Um, Jackie Chan flick the blood off of the end of the sword. It obviously is like a katana or wakizashi or something,
Hmm.
and flick it clean. And don't say anything about it, but it's obvious. I think I have some kind of daze or intimidation or those startles basically to try and get the information of him and maybe stare at him quietly for a moment longer than is comfortable and ask where is Sharon, the blonde who was taken here 3 nights ago.
So yeah, why don't you roll intimidation?
Okay, is all this is? It looks like I have daze intimidation,
Yeah, so
skill
daze
mastery
intimidation allows
intimidation.
you to daze an opponent in combat,
Oh, that's right. These are
and
in
take away
combat.
their action with
All
intimidation.
right, nice. I should have done that. That would have been sweet. I guess I didn't really need to. All right, so let's find intimidation. Here we go.
24. 24 is definitely better than the difficulty class set by his own skills. So yeah, he pretty clearly he realizes exactly what has gone down, that you've just killed his buddies. And he says, "Hey man, I don't know anything about that. I just and then what do you do to get him to actually open up?"
Uh, like, I'll cut off something with the sword to show some skill to like cut away his arm holster for his gun or his belt or something so his pants fall down. I don't know. One of those two
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. So he says, "Okay, okay. All right." They took her to Rocco's place.
Is that a bar that I'm familiar with, or is that like a warehouse, chop
It's
shop?
it's so it is basically like an abandoned warehouse that has been taken over by the Zebra Gang.
The Zebra Gang. I'm surprised they're not called the Jeffries or something. I don't even know if you're getting my pop culture references or not because they are old ones and kind of subtle.
I
Don't know the Jeffries?
I don't know the Jeffries.
You know what Toys R Us is?
Yes.
Oh, they were giraffes anyway, so it was a terrible one. Jeffrey was like the young giraffe that was one of the Toys R Us.
Nice.
Oh, that's terrible. All right, yeah. So I'm gonna leave this guy alive, but slash him across the forehead and knock him unconscious again before grabbing the lady and taking her incognito, anonymously to the hospital, and then on to
Yeah,
Rocco's.
so you drive off with her, take her, leave her like on a bench outside the hospital or something, I'm assuming, cuz well, you can't get too close, right? Cuz
Yeah.
you're basically a criminal as a masked vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
Um but so yeah, and you leave her in a place where you know that she'll be found pretty quickly and will get medical attention. And then what are you going to do?
Then I was gonna head over to Rocco's.
All right. I think you probably have time. This probably took about half the night for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so you probably have time to go to Rocco's. All right. Let me do
Do you want to take a couple
find.
minutes? My wife just got
Yeah.
here, so
Yeah. Give me a minute or two to set up a battle map for the interior of a warehouse.
do you want your screen? Do you want to stay up here? Or do you want me to put the "We'll be right back" image up?
Uh, I don't care. All they're gonna see is me putting tokens down for a warehouse.
Only if you change the map, they won't even see that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'll just put the "Be right back" and then I'll mute us. But remind me to unmute us later. We'll be right
All
back,
right.
TJ. That's cool though. All right, we're going back live. All right, we got music, guys, and we're back. And I forgot my water. Son of a biscuit. Mom. Just kidding. All right, I'm good. What's up? Let's do this thing.
All right. So you just gonna roll up to Rocco's place and
Well, maybe you should set the scene for me. What's I would probably stop, a block away, maybe get on the rooftops or something. I guess I don't know what it is, just like a old beat up warehouse with graffiti on the side or
it's just a big industrial scale warehouse. Probably was used for shipping stuff, and then some company went under and left it abandoned, and now it's been taken over by this gang, and it's kind of a mess outside, but there's definitely some graffiti, there's some stuff, but I mean it's big, right? It takes up most of the block.
it's kind of like in Rust Belt type of thing or
Yeah,
down by
yeah.
the tracks or like I guess it's not on the dock or anything like that.
No, it's not actually on the docks, but it's probably close to where the train tracks come through, and probably I think the whole area that you're in is probably kind of near a highway since you were at an underpass earlier.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I guess I would stop a little ways back and try and gauge to see like how many zebras are there? Do I know?
You will not be able to tell right now, but
Did I like have an idea? Like, are there 100 or 20 or?
why don't you roll me streetwise to see how many you think there are all told?
10 million people.
So you got a pretty good idea. There are, um, the zebras are kind of a mid-sized gang, so you can expect that they sort of travel in those groups of three. But you expect that there's, 5 or 10 of them here guarding the place at least. Plus, if they're having, you don't see any signs of like having a meeting or a gathering or anything, but there definitely could be more.
Are there a lot of vehicles outside, or are they mostly on foot
There's a
most of the time?
couple. There's some of them abandoned, some of them not so abandoned. There's definitely a couple of vehicles out there.
Cool. I think maybe I need to find out. Like, can I get on a building nearby and use my sniper rifle to look around to see if there's are people on the roof or through any of the windows, or see if I can get eyes on the missing Sharon?
The missing Sharon. So yeah, you can definitely go up on the a nearby roof, and you've got the scope of your sniper rifle looking through. Um, it's really hard to see into the interior of this place is kind of the issue, and I will bring you over in.
So I have an equipment of 4. What does that mean? Does it mean like
That
I
means
can
that
roll?
that is the number of ranks in the equipment advantage that you have. So I brought you over to the abandoned warehouse, and I've got you up here looking in through the window.
Ooh, I can see some dudes in there.
That's just artifacts of the picture. That's not
Oh, those look like
necessarily
zebras.
people. Although you can definitely see some zebras in here. And if you want to roll perception, I'll tell you exactly how many you can see.
Perception.
All right, so you can see these guys and these guys. Five of them inside. Oh, equipment. What I was saying about equipment. Your equipment of 4 means that you've got 4 ranks in the equipment advantage, which gives you 20 points available of equipment. I gave you a little more total equipment than that because I felt like that was appropriate for your character and for because originally I had, like we talked about before we went live, I had set this up for 2 or 3 heroes, but with just you've got to kind of pull a bit more weight by just yourself.
That's right. And I don't know how well I've been doing so far, but we're in it to
No,
win
I
it.
think you've been doing great. You took down those other zebras pretty handily.
Mm-hmm. What? So how big is this chamber here compared to the rest of the building? Is this the totality of it, or is there another like area through like some doors or something?
This is most of it. There's a little bit through. There's kind of like sort of outbuildings that are attached to it, but this is
No
essentially most
office.
of the building.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of offices or stuff.
Which would I can assume Sharon's at because I don't see her in here right now, right?
Yeah, you can probably assume that she's being held, and you don't even know. So Rocco's place is at least where she was at one point.
Yeah.
Hard to say where she is now necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the danger.
The danger to these drums.
Mm.
um, where would the offices be compared to where these guys are?
These guys are all kind of milling about in the main section. Offices, I think, are probably through this door at the back.
Okay. Can I get onto this walkway from outside? It looks
Uh,
like.
yeah. Why don't you roll? Let's do another. Uh, what would that be? Do you think acrobatics?
I don't know, stealth or acrobatics because I'm what
Well, I think
wizard.
so. I think acrobatics to get up there.
Okay.
But I will tell you, this is also a good time to refresh your memory. You can just take 10 on the acrobatics check and get your bonus plus 10 for your roll because this is not a tense or opposed situation.
But a 10 doesn't seem like a very good roll.
A ten is not a great roll, but it might well be enough
Okay.
for what is your bonus?
10 maybe? Yeah, 5 ability,
Bonus?
5 ranks. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 ability, 5 ranks. Oh yeah, that's plenty to get up there to just take 10.
Okay, so I'm pretty good at that. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's get up there and move along there because what I'm trying to do is maybe set these guys into a position where I could just. I'm considering just sniping them off, but I don't know if we're that bloody. And are we that bloody? That's definitely a Punisher type maneuver or a Rambo or any of those guys. So I guess I'm still trying to grasp our tone.
Well, I think we're doing collaborative storytelling, so I think it's up to you to decide whether that's something that Ranger is into or if he's gonna stay away from that and just try to sneak his way through. But I do think what we'll do is we'll do an opposed sneaking perception roll to try to see if they can spot you, and you're gonna have +2 to your roll to see if they can spot you up there. Ooh, 20 is the difficulty class. How you feeling, Hobbs? You gonna sneak nice and sneaky like?
I don't know. So,
Oh, stealth.
oh,
Yeah,
just make a stealth. Oh, okay.
just
So,
roll stealth. Yeah,
oh,
roll
okay.
stealth with +2.
Okay, I didn't know if it was going off of. I thought I had rolled. No, I rolled an acrobatics. I just took the 20, right? Okay, I'm like,
Yeah. You just took your result on acrobatics to get up there.
all right.
Um,
Oh, I only have a 5 stealth. I'm not as stealthy as I thought.
ooh,
Nice. Yeah,
it's
let's
all
go
those
there.
points put into buying sniper
Acrobatics.
rifles.
Yeah, acrobatics and intimidation. Maybe that's why he isn't as stealthy as we thought. But let's see what
Mm.
happens. Looks like
Stealth
22.
check 22. Nice. So yeah, you're able to kind of climb and leap up and agilely get yourself up onto this kind of over, um, I don't know what you call it, a walkway up above,
Catwalk.
a catwalk up above the main room. You look down and you can see actually now that there are more of these gangsters, and in the center of sort of a clump of them, there's these gentlemen.
Payday
And by these
guys.
gentlemen, I mean there's two of them, two of these kind of characters wearing masks.
Nobody wears masks here but me. That mean they're like boss monsters or something?
Well, you don't know exactly what
Okay.
they are.
I didn't
That's
know
the
if that's
thing.
what it means. All
Oh
right.
no, it's just in out of, so you can tell that this means that they're probably like gangsters of a different sort, but it's
Ooh.
hard to say exactly, like, does that mean that these are like the bosses of the zebras, or does that mean that these are gangsters that have been captured by the zebras? You can tell that they don't have guns out. They're just sort of standing surrounded by a clump of zebras.
Yeah. That
Um,
looks a little weird that they're surrounded like that. Seems like a strange
yeah.
place for a circle jerk too. All right. I think it's time to see what's going on. Can I hear anything?
You can hear there's sort of hushed talking, but you can't hear exactly what they're saying at all.
I think you should have snipped that, TJ. You should have kept that as a. That definitely better than the circle jerk comment. Would have make a nice clip. I think isn't that what they call it? I don't know
On
if you saw
Twitch,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, on Twitch, he said he quoted me, concerned and slightly miffed. Nobody wears masks here but me. I thought that was a good line.
Nice.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was good when I said it, but I don't know. All right. Anyway, so I think I'm going to take a little time and watch these guys and see if I can discern what the situation is.
Yeah, so one of these zebras comes over, and there's two of these guys in masks, and one of them comes over and he just lets out a punch straight into the face of one of them, and the guy in the mask goes down. The other one kind of gets his fist up, and two of the other zebras come around and grab him from behind to hold him in place. So it is pretty clear to you at this point these are rival gangsters.
So I think I will use this as a distraction to continue my way to see if what's in the offices
All right.
because they seem very busy right now.
Yeah, they're all sort of grouped up around these guys, and they're closing in around them, clumping up like that. Um, so yeah, I assume you're gonna do the take 10 to get a 20 on the acrobatics check to just hop down.
Yeah, unless there's a way that I can just move right along these things over to that area before hopping down along the ceiling or something.
Um,
I don't really
hmm.
know.
I think the entrance to the offices is like down here. I'm picturing this kind of vertical door maybe is the actual entrance to the offices.
Okay.
So you have to get down onto ground level.
All right. Perfect. I'll do that.
All right. So you get down onto ground level and come into the offices. Um, and what do you see? What do you see? Do I have a random table for this? Oh yes, I do have a random table for this. So tied up in the center of this office is another one of these masked guys. He's basically tied up, and you can see the mask has been kind of lifted up enough over his face to put duct tape over his mouth so that he can't talk or make any noise. But there's another one of them in here.
By these colors, do I know who these guys are?
You do not recognize these guys. You could roll streetwise again to see what you can kind of intuit based on everything.
If like maybe, yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Can I just take a 10 on it? It's a 20 again.
Sure, that's good enough. Yeah. So what you can gather is that there are new gangs sprouting up all the time from the remnants of old gangs. Um, if you had to guess, your best guess is that this is just a new gang and this is their trademark thing, right? Instead of having like a colored armband or something, what they do is they wear these funny looking masks.
I gotta say, I don't like this idea. All right, so I am going to I'll untie. I'll just slash this guy's stuff and say, they're about to do your buddies in, and you should do what you can to help them. And I'll grab him by the scruff and grab him and pick him up and like push him pretty fast, and then just like kind of throw him into the other room.
So he kind of grabs at the doorway to hold himself for a second and says, "Wait, the boss sent you?"
I am the boss.
Says, "Really? Okay. And he sort of hops in to the other room. Nobody has noticed him yet, but he is I'm gonna copy and paste and make a smaller one for him. But he is kind of getting ready, and then suddenly you can hear cry out, and there's a full-blown brawl starting here in the middle of this warehouse. What do you want to do?
I think I'm going to look around now that he's not in here. I want to see at the office if it looks like there's any telltale signs that someone else has been captured here, like signs of Sharon's evidence that maybe she was here or not here or what. I'm going to obviously have to grab someone eventually, but I figured that would help wear down the opposition.
Yeah, so what you find kind of rummaging through, you can hear the sounds of fighting in the background. Why don't you, I'm wondering if there's a skill to roll. Investigation seems like the thing to roll to see how quickly you can gather evidence and stuff like that.
I like it.
Nice. So you go through and you're pulling up everything, papers flying around. There's definitely, in your kind of frenzied search, you can see there's plenty of evidence for other crime. And you know that these guys are human traffickers. So if you had to guess, you would say that these are the people who took Sharon. But there's no specific evidence that you can find for Sharon, except that there's a little bit. What kind of stands out to you right now is that the zebras are gearing up. They're getting ready for like a full-scale gang war, which you probably can figure out has something to do with these guys in masks outside.
Are there like any addresses of other locations where maybe they're sending people, or?
Yeah, there's like let's say that there's like a map with a couple of X's on it, and you can, grab that and stuff it into a back pocket or something.
All right. So now it's time to show these guys who the boss is. What was this warehouse used for before, did you say?
Just like industrial shipping.
All right. Is there like a lift truck or anything?
It's pretty much abandoned and stuff. Everything valuable like that has been moved off somewhere else. So it's basically, you can imagine it's this thing, the forklift or something is gone, but some of the pallets and stuff are still hanging out around here. And you can see the masked guy that you liberated was able to knock out one of these zebras, but he and his buddies have all been knocked to the ground and are unconscious.
right. Let me see what I'm really good with guns. It seems like I should be using some guns in this game before we wrap it up. So I think it's time to stride in here menacingly and say, "Looks like you guys have a problem with masks."
And everybody, are you doing an intimidation
Yeah, that sounds good. I
attempt?
can do that daze intimidation where it slows them down, and I can do maybe then I can just gun these guys down then with my pistolero.
Yeah, so why don't you roll me intimidation and we'll say, I don't know if this is the rule, but we'll say that it hits all of them because they're minions. A 30. So that's definitely good enough. All of them are going to lose their first turn of combat. So let's roll initiative. All right, Ranger, you are up. What you gonna do?
I'm assuming these guys are slow and they're surprised, obviously, but they definitely have pistols, right? Or guns or
Yeah, they've
something.
got one or two of them at the fringe have actually drawn their guns just to make sure that the masked guys didn't get away if they broke free. But most of them are going to be reaching for their guns
All right,
pretty
yeah.
much instantly.
So I'm gonna gun these guys down here. I'll just shoot at them. I don't know what the rules are. I
All
guess.
right.
I
Yeah,
mean, I can
yeah,
shoot
just
at it
shoot at him. So
once, or if it's
so
like a
we can go over
two.
in an action scene. You have as many free actions as seems necessary or makes sense. You have one move action and one standard action. You can use the standard action to move again if you want to. Um, I'll say that you're not fatigued anymore because you probably had about an hour of time of, kind of total just on the bike. That's not really resting, but what it's, we'll call it resting.
Could have
So you're
rested
not
my
fatigued
bronco
anymore.
or whatever. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Um, you're not fatigued anymore. You have a move action and a standard action, and then you can also do. So there's some special stuff you can do, but I think what you want to do is probably just make an attack roll with your pistol.
Okay. Um, that's what I'll do.
A 16. 16 is just good enough to hit. DC 19, rolling toughness.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. Yeah, that counter roll. Interesting.
Yeah. So, bam, one of them goes down. And so on the break, I tinkered a little bit with your advantages and your stats and stuff to I'm starting to see the matrix figure out kind of how you build characters in this system because like I mentioned, this is my first time playing Mutants and Masterminds. So
Cool.
one of the things I gave you is the takedown advantage. Takedown means that when you take down a minion, you get to make another standard action to attack a minion
Every time?
every time.
Oh boy, that
So you
sounds crazy.
Yeah, so you can basically just in a hail of bullets, you could potentially shoot all of these guys down
That's kind of
in
the imagery
one
I
go.
had almost, but
Yeah.
that's cool. All right, I'll
All
try that
right.
again.
So you want to make another shot?
I do.
All right.
I shall.
That's not good enough. Another one. Bam. You blow out his brains with your pistol.
This is kind of sick. Shoot till you miss.
Shoot till you miss, basically. All right. Or until one of them rolls a big toughness save.
Right.
But that's not going to be it. Bam. Another one down.
I mean, you have to roll a 19 or a 20. Oh, they probably have a bonus.
There we go. One of them, this one, you got him, clipped him in the shoulder, this guy, but he is not down. And so that's going to be the end of your turn. But if you remember, you dazed all these guys,
Yeah.
so none of them get to take their turn here. So it's your turn again.
Yeah, so I'll like spin around and kind of shift over and get some cover to the rest of these guys in case I don't finish them off. And then
Yeah. Maybe switch out magazines or something. Oh, yeah.
Reload or whatever it takes. I get 32. I have a pretty big bonus with this gun.
Excellent. Another one. So that one that you got shot in the shoulder, you hit him again and he goes down.
So I saw that you had put like explosive bullets and stuff. What does that mean as far as it goes?
So explosive bullets, in this case, what it does is it means that you have a higher critical range. So you actually rolled a 20 on that.
Mm-hmm.
But hypothetically, even if you rolled a 16, if that 16 was good enough to hit, you would count as a critical hit. Because your critical range is higher than just 1. Your critical range is actually up to 16 through 20 instead of just 20.
And that's only really matters
because of the explosive bullets.
If someone has to follow the ranking of being knocked out or whatever, right? For minions, it doesn't matter because they don't.
For minions, it doesn't matter, but it matters more for if you're facing a more powerful enemy who might be able to, shrug off some hits, unlike these minions.
Right. Awesome. All right. So let's continue this barrage of pistol fire.
15. 15 is not good enough.
Must have missed after that. Nice.
Yeah, you miss on the next shot. So now the gangsters get a chance to shoot. So we have one shot with a pistol. 15 is definitely not good enough to hit you because you're 22 dodge.
Yeah.
22 dodge DC.
Undercover, does that matter?
Yeah, that'll be a -2 to their rolls, we'll call it. Definitely not. Definitely not. So a hail of bullets come your way, but none of them actually connect.
You'll have to do better than that, boys. Ranger seems like a tough one. I don't really know what his calling shout would be, or how in the, I guess not really in street level. In Iron Age comics, they didn't really do it like that. It's not like its clobbering time is really effective.
Another one down. 19 is good enough. But another one rolls good enough. So another one, you get him. Maybe this time you get him in the leg, but he doesn't go down from that. He's going to keep firing. All right. Pistol shots. One pistol shot. That's a miss. Another pistol shot. That's a miss. All right. Your turn, Ranger.
All right. So I'll parkour over top of my cover and move forward, gun in front of me as I'm shooting at the one guy and yell out, "Where's Sharon?" And I'll blast the guy who is uninjured.
Ooh, a miss.
Oh, must have been all that messing around.
All that messing around. Yeah, you got cocky. And now they're going to shoot back at you.
Oh, boy.
And in fact, one of them is going to shoot. And it's a miss. And this other one, he's going to run off in a direction that you can't see. He's going to run through this doorway. And you lose sight of him as you are focusing on this guy. And it's your turn again.
All right, so take a breath and then shoot this guy before turning into the other room.
All right, that's good enough to hit. Toughness save. Toughness save failed. Wham. There he goes. All right, what are you going to do, Ranger?
I'll move towards the edge of the door, reloading my pistol.
Reloading. So you see inside, there's the one that you saw before. And then there is this gentleman.
Oh, boy. Spaceman Spiff. Looks like he's carrying a big gun, though.
All right, if you would roll me initiative again. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them, they're not going to notice you until you actually act. So it's your turn. What are you going to do?
So like what the guy ran in there and he's like, boss, someone's here, or what? Like
Yeah, he's
what am I
shouting.
seeing?
He's shouting, somebody's attacking us. There's one of those masked guys. And this guy, so this one with the skull on his face, he is this big dude in full like combat armor, and he's got basically like a machine gun, like a saw or something, sitting on the desk in front of him that he picks up as he stands up to start surveying the area.
Yeah, and so just as he stands up, I'll come around and I'll fire, trying to shoot this guy. It makes his head. So when he's like, "Hey, there's someone coming, boss," and then his head would just explode forward towards the guy. He's already here.
Nice.
All right. Shoot.
All right. Excellent. And then toughness save. That's not good enough. So yeah, you blow this guy's brains out. Now it's just, so this one, he is not a minion.
Right.
And he, as a free action, is going to shout, "I heard there were vigilantes in town." And then he picks up this massive machine gun and starts to spray it at you. And he is going to roll massive MG. 14 is not good enough to hit you. So that's the end of his turn.
So yeah, like I'm, running from one column to the next as the pock marks get picked up all over along the ground and the wall behind him, right? So.
Yep.
So I'll dive forward, shooting. As do we have to re-roll initiative or no?
Oh, we did the re-rolled initiative, so
I mean,
it's
you
your
don't do
turn.
it every round with the boss.
No. You just do it every combat.
All right. So bullet casings flying.
So you kind of lean out around a column and shoot at him, and it whizzes right by his helmet, but it does not connect.
Interesting.
All right, his turn. He is going to take a shot at you. 26, I believe, is better than your dodge DC.
Yep, I have a 22.
22. All right, so you're going to make me a toughness check at DC 20.
So I have a toughness on each of my weapons, but do I hit any of that? Or
oh, no. So that's toughness on the weapons refers to it requires a toughness test to save against that attack. What you have above initiative, you have dodge, parry, fortitude, toughness, will. You're just going to click that toughness. 21. So you get tagged by one of these MG bullets, but you are able to shrug it off. So mechanically, what happened was you technically got hit, but you succeeded at the toughness save, which was a DC 20 save, because you rolled pretty well. You got a 15. So if you had failed, you would take a certain level of penalty based on that failing that save. But as it is, you do not. So now it's your turn again.
So I also have evasion.
So evasion is good for avoiding area attacks. So if he starts throwing grenades at you, you will have a bonus for avoiding area attacks.
All right. So this room is obviously being used for something. What is it? What's in here?
There's like a metal desk with kind of gun parts strewn around on it. This seems to be his lair, as it were. It's kind of his area.
So you say there's guns and gun parts. Are there grenades or anything?
I don't think there's any grenades. Well, there might be some grenades, but they're sort of out of reach at present.
Right. That's why I'm going to shoot them.
Oh, you're going to shoot a grenade. I'm trying to think of how that would actually be resolved.
Probably
so seems to me...
Just like throwing one. A little area of effect attack.
Seems to me that what we would do is we would pull up the gadget guides and see what the grenade setup is like. Where are what do you think grenades would be under? They're not firearms, but are they going to be under heavy weapons?
Oh, are you looking like in the equipment and devices and stuff?
I am looking. So I've got the gadget guide,
Oh, okay.
and it has a set of different kind of
This actually
a
just
whole
says
bunch of different
grenades
gadgets
and
and equipment and stuff.
this one actually just says grenades and explosives in the DC handbook, the Hero's Handbook.
Oh, grenades and explosives. Well, let me find. What does it say for the grenades and explosives specifically?
It's got a fragmentation, smoke, flashbang, sleep gas, tear gas, dynamite, or plastic explosive. I'm assuming we're talking fragmentation is a burst area damage 5, dodge DC of 15.
Dodge DC of 15. All right. So yeah, why don't you roll me an attack check with your pistol to see if you can actually hit the grenade. Going to be fairly difficult, but I don't think that's quite good enough to actually hit it. I think you
just clip
Yep.
the desk somewhere, and maybe he realizes it or something. Who knows? Now he throws it at you. That's the problem.
I don't think he's gonna throw. I think he's got a colossal machine gun in his hands. I think he's just gonna keep using that for a minute. Ooh, but another miss. You evade his attack.
All right, so we'll see some more Rob
All right,
Liefeld
your
pop
turn.
marks along the desk as I fire at the grenade again. Looks like you got some more trouble in town, but nothing as bad as Ranger.
Nice. That is definitely good enough to hit the grenade. You set off the grenade right next to him, so he gets to make a dodge check to avoid half of the damage. And he succeeds at that. So it's going to be a damage of 3. So the range to damage of 3 means that it's a DC 18 check to his toughness. And he rolled a 30. So he is not phased by it. This frag grenade goes off right next to him, and you can see there's the scarring along one side of his armor where it blasted away at him. But he is not phased by it at all. And it is his turn. He is going to do another shot. That's a crit fail, so he is definitely missing that one. And Ranger, it's your turn again.
How'd that feel, Power Punk? Now eat explosive lead.
All right, 25 is good enough to hit. So now he has to make a toughness save. Toughness save against DC 19. Once again, shrugs it right off. All right, his turn to take a shot. And that is a miss.
All right, so I think now it seems like I'm coming at him with almost everything I have, but it's not really affecting him. So I'm going to have to come up with another plan. Is there a way that I can see if he has any weaknesses in this power armor?
I think you could roll me insight or perception probably to see if there's some weakness to it. Yeah. So what you can tell is that kind of above the waist, it's big and bulky and fully powerful. It's been trimmed down a little bit from its original style around the legs. So what I'll let you do is essentially have basically equivalent to the power attack advantage that you can take -2 to hit him at an advantage of +2 to the DC of his toughness check to hit him in the legs, basically.
Okay, that sounds cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, am
Yeah.
I supposed to be changing anything? Should I just change my 12 to a 10 or?
So what you can do is you can go down below the attack macros. You can go down to where it
I
has
see.
says so you can write power attack. You can do -2 like I just did, and that'll change it to -2 to the attack check and +2 to the effect.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
So why don't you roll me an attack?
Nice.
17 is 17. 17 is good enough. DC 21 save this time. And again, you kind of clip the leg armor, but it does not slow him down at all.
Okay.
All right. Once again, the MG, he does not hit you. So you're ducking and weaving. He is barely able to even draw a bead on you, and he keeps blasting out the concrete around you, but he's never able to actually hit you, basically.
What was the grenade DC?
DC to hit the grenade, I was calling that 20.
Okay, so basically the same. Oh no, this is a 21 now. All right, I'm gonna try it again and see, because I see he only needs a. He only rolled like a 12 and he succeeded. So he really only needs a 9 or a 10. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a very high toughness, so he's easy to hit, but he is hard to actually damage.
There's lights and stuff in here, though, right?
Yeah, there's lights and stuff.
So, is it carpeted? No, it's not carpeted, or maybe just industrial carpet, or
yeah. There's maybe like
mats,
one
or
section of industrial carpet.
is everything finished in here, or is like some of the drywall ripped out, or like the electrical cords visible, or?
It looks pretty much like this main interior area that things are ripped out. There's it's in a pretty bad state.
All right, so even like on the ceiling.
Yeah, I think so.
I think what I'll try to do is I'm gonna try and like jump up, like use the desk or a box or something, jump up and cut something free, and then I'm gonna try and jab a electrical cord into him to see what happens.
All right.
A live electrical cord.
So why don't you roll me acrobatics for the maneuver and then make a sword attack? Oh yeah, you're definitely able. You got a nat 20 on that, so you can leap up there, grab down, and you're gonna, hit him straight on with this power surge. He is going to have to make, I think that would be a fortitude save. And he's going to fail that. So he is going to take some damage. So mechanically, he did not fail by that much, but he got one injury. So if you can see above your dodge, parry, fortitude, your set of saving throws, there's a space for injuries. And injuries basically make it harder to succeed at toughness checks over time.
Okay. Nice. So I know what I'm gonna do next.
So now it's his turn, and you're up close. So I think he's gonna just try to smack you.
Is this what you expected when we started playing this, or am I surprising you?
This is not what I expected. He is. I'll tell you, kind of to let you look behind the screen a little bit. He's built quite a bit heavier duty than you are, because he was supposed to be the boss for
three players. Yeah.
3 players, yeah. So I did not expect it to go this way. I'm kind of interested in the way that it's gone down because I've never played the system before. So this seems a little bit like,
A comic book.
punching back and forth, not really doing anything, but All right, so he misses you with his big unarmed smack, but he smashes down into the table and crushes half the desk beneath his fist.
So now that this electrical cord is just kind of laying, or I don't know if it's stuffed into him or what, I'm going to make this area dangerous for him and cut off the sprinkler so water cascades into this area to make the whole area maybe electrified and stay up, and then I'll try and shoot him from being out of the electrified water.
Yeah, so that sounds like 2 actions worth of things to do for me. 1 to smack the water, 1 move action to get out of the area, and then 1 attack action to shoot at him.
Yeah, I can drop the shoot if you want. I don't have to do that right away.
Well, I think it's fun and it takes advantage of the system. I think by this point you've been role playing the heck out of Ranger. So why don't you take a hero point and you can just use that to avoid the negative consequences of doing extra effort.
Awesome. So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to roll a sword attack again?
So I want you to roll a sword check for the water sprinkler. Ooh. That is not good.
I do have another.
It is a stationary target, though. So yeah, why don't you use another hero point to just re-roll that?
Okay.
I think 15 is just good enough. You tag the water sprinkler, and it starts spurting out around him, and then you leap back out of the way. He is going to make another toughness check. Toughness check 18 for a difficulty of 20. That's not good enough. So he's now at 2 injuries. But to give you an idea, so he only failed by 1 degree. So he's just building up -1 to toughness checks right now. You haven't really done anything particularly serious to him. But because he's standing in water and he's got the electricity arcing over him, I'm going to make him make a toughness check against the electricity every round, basically. So that was good thinking on your part, definitely. And then you can take a shot at him.
Okay, let's get the Colt into action with the explosive ammo.
Ooh, that is not good enough to hit. So your bullet
and electricity arcing around the room for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of electricity. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. So he is not very smart. He's just gonna stand in this electrified pool and take some shots at you.
I think it's cool imagery though. So
yeah. So he is doing That's not right. He has power attack, so he's going to start power attacking.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Ooh, got me.
So that's a crit on his end.
Yeah.
So DC 22 is going to be bumped up to a DC 27 toughness save because of the crit.
Okay. So I roll my toughness save.
Toughness result of 12. Toughness result of 12 is a failure.
Bad one.
By
10.
What is that? 3 degrees.
Oh. What did you say it went up to? 27? Or 20?
27? 27 is 3 degrees. Yeah.
So I take 3 damage?
Yeah. So you took a wicked hit. To give you an idea, what you're at now is that the target is dazed until the end of their next turn and has a -1 circumstance penalty to further checks against damage. So on that injuries spot, you can bump it up to 1.
Okay, 1.
And then what does dazed do? Maybe only take a single standard action. But the danger is if you fail another check by that amount, if you fail by 3 degrees, you're going to be completely out. All right, so your turn. Oh, and I'm going to make him do his toughness save against the electricity right now. Toughness save. He saves against the electricity. Your turn.
Okay, it does. Even for Ranger, it seems like this armor seems like he's pretty much pulled out the kitchen sink on him. So it almost seems like maybe
Yep.
he's gonna have to retreat,
He could
especially after
definitely,
he.
yeah, he just took a pretty wicked hit
Yeah,
from
he just
that
got
machine
jacked up
gun.
by the machine gun, and he definitely can't take another one of those. Um, so he's gonna have to maybe skedaddle and fight another day with Skull Punk, and maybe go
Hmm.
check out this other location on the maps. So that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna bug out.
So yeah, he can rush out of there. He can take his move action and his standard action as moves, and he definitely moves faster than this guy. So he can rush out and be out before this guy's able to even get out of the electrified water. Nice.
Awesome.
So Ranger has lived to fight another day,
I
which,
really thought it was cool. There's a lot of
yeah,
cool comic book scenes in there to me. So
yeah, it was definitely comic booky. I could have used combat that was a little less like, I think part of it was just because since it's just the two of us, we didn't have other people trying to do things in the middle of it. But for a little while there, it was very much like I shoot and miss, you shoot and miss, I shoot and miss, you shoot and miss, and that seems like a little bit, eh, that's not quite as fun as I'd expect. But it definitely, when we actually had some hitting rolls, and then after that was great with the use the electricity and then the sprinkler to get him wet so that he'd keep taking electricity damage. That was inspired.
those are my favorite things about, because that feels more natural in a superhero game than it does like a D&D game or something where you're really using the environment and trying to, you know, I don't know if it's like get every single edge you can. I don't really look at it that way, but you're actually just trying. That's what happens in the comic books, right? That's
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
do. They're like, oh, I can't. Spidey was constant like, oh, I really can't do anything against Rhino, so now I'm gonna have to hit him with electricity or the fire extinguisher or something. So,
Yeah. Well, and to give you some idea, he was built. He as a boss was built as power level 11, which
mm,
you guys, all the heroes, were built as power level 8. So the theory was, well, 3 characters at power level 8. That's probably a little bit stronger, at least a little bit stronger than one power level 11 boss.
hmm
Um, I was surprised how well you held your own, though. That was really pretty cool. Um, until you actually got tagged, you're
right.
kind of an agile character who can't take too many hits.
Yeah, and that was a
Um,
wicked one too. That was a very
yeah, that was
high one with a really
a
bad
big
toughness
hit.
save, which
Yep.
that's the swinginess, right? But
Yeah, that's the sweetest.
it also had that the cinematic feel of a comic for sure. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
I feel like it was good, and I I think that stuff where you talk about I swing and you swing, I swing, you miss. Part of that is on us too. We need to
Yeah,
add some of that flavor, but when there's only two people, sometimes maybe it feels a little funny to be doing all that flavor like that, right? But when you're fighting
yeah, yeah. I
minions
definitely.
at the
It would
same
be.
time, so I mean, I don't know. It
Yeah,
was fun though. I don't think,
yeah.
considering you'd never played it before, I have been playing superhero games, but I haven't for quite a while. So I really do enjoy that aspect of it because it does feel more, uh, I don't know, a little more graphic, right? In some ways,
Hmm.
the easier. And it was fun because I haven't done it for a while. If I did that every single session, obviously it would get boring. But so I like the
Yeah,
idea because sometimes that's what happens to the vigilante. He gets in over his head and he has to leave until he figures out another way. That's very solo book. That happens all
yep,
the time in solo comics. So
yep,
great, man,
yeah.
awesome.
No,
So
that was a lot of fun.
yeah, I really appreciated you running, and it's their own fault that they didn't make it. So you got any? You have a podcast? You want to talk about it?
I have a podcast. I have a podcast on Anchor, live from Pelham's Wasteland. I will be doing an episode about Mutants and Masterminds after this. Having now played it, I did kind of an overview episode back when I was doing talking about a whole bunch of Supers games, but I hadn't actually played it. I just kind of read it and tried to internalize what it meant. So I'm going to talk about this game. I talk about some other games. I do a lot of kind of sword and sorcery kind of games, and that's in fact that is actually why I wanted to run Mutants and Masterminds, because somebody suggested use Mutants and Masterminds for Conan style sword and sorcery, because Conan in the stories is basically like a power level 8 superhero. um, and I am not sure how that's going to work, but I wanted to get one session of traditional Mutants and Masterminds and then try out Conan as a power level 8 superhero. So we're going to see how that goes. That's going to be in a couple weeks. But yeah, I have a podcast. Listen to Live from Pelham's Wasteland on all the podcast platforms, but especially on Anchor.
That's right. So awesome. I hope you guys all enjoyed this trip through Mr. Hobbs's Gamerhood. Definitely something different. Two guys playing a game, having a good time. Sorry about that long break in there. And we have a short recording. That's even better for the YouTubes. But the people will be like, what the hell? Otherwise, you guys know what to do. Stay alive. And I hope you will be my gamer. All right. Thanks, guys. Heading out.